Alright, welcome back everyone. We're going to continue on with the rebuild project. I got the order of scenery products in from Scenery Express, and I have quite a bit to play around with. I'm not sure that I'll use all of it, but we'll see how things shape up. I've prepped a handful of armatures, and now I'm ready to start the flocking. These already look better than the batch from the box that I mentioned in the last video. I soaked the super trees in a matte medium, and then hung them to dry overnight. I sprayed them with this Krylon gray paint I had lying around, and then just hit the branch tips with the dark green camouflage color, trying to stay away from the trunks. That step might not have been needed, but I think it'll give them an additional layer with a shadow effect. I picked up this spray adhesive to hold the foliage onto the branches, and I've never used it before, so hopefully it'll work. I'm going to get going on this. I'll see you in the next segment. A little in progress. The first batch of super trees from this box are ready to go on the layout. I used a few different colors and textures of foam, but mostly used the super leaf material that Scenery Express makes. It might be a bit out of scale, but I think the textures will blend in nicely when they're installed. I like how these have turned out compared to the batch of trees from part 1. The colors I used are a dark green, a moss green, an olive green, a spring green, and a medium green. I did a few with some coarse foam in the spring and medium greens as well, and even though they are the same color as the super leaf, the foam clumps give a different texture and almost appear a darker shade when sat next to the others. For a different variety of green, I also used some olive leaves by Knock, which are essentially the same thing as a super leaf material. I still need to do some cleanup work and maybe even add in a few highlights with some spray paint, but now it's time to start mocking them up into the scene. More to come. Alright, we're back. It took some time placing trees and moving different ones around, but I got the whole scene put together, and I've glued in all of the trees up against the backdrop on the hill, and now I'm ready to get the front ones in place. But before I do that, I'm going to weather up and detail the track a bit so I won't have to come back later and do it. I've got some pan pastels and pigments to mess around with, so let me do that and we'll be back afterwards. Alright, welcome back. I weathered up the track from the base of the curved turnout all the way down to the other turnout at the bottom of the hill on the next module. And I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. I didn't have a specific formula at all, and mostly just kind of pushed around different shades of grays, some rusty colors, blacks and browns, and here's kind of what the result was. Now I'm going to turn my attention to adding in some details, and I have a bunch prepped and ready to go already. I've got some rail, some strip wood for some ties, some pallets, barrels, and a bunch of tires. I'm going to get these painted up off camera. We'll be right back. Okay, just a little in progress on how the detail parts turned out after a few coats of paint and some weathering. Most of the castings are printed using the Elfin, with the exception of a few white metal parts that I've collected over the last few years. I weathered them up with some oil washes and an alcohol India ink stain. I'm going to get these in place and we'll be right back. Alright, welcome back. Here's the details all installed. I've got a bunch of things placed in and added in some scale pieces of paper to represent some scattered newspaper. I concentrated on mostly sticking the junk down in areas that will be visible, as not to waste it. So now I'm gonna get this front row of trees installed. More to come. Okay, we're back, and here's an overview of the whole area. I think it's shaped up nicely. I had to do some trimming with the armatures to get the correct shapes and sizes that I was after, but I love how this has turned out. It's a little bit more of what I imagined than the attempt in the last video. The colors and textures are a bit more of what I was hoping for, and it definitely makes the whole area feel full. There's still a bit more work that needs to be done to the area overall, but I think for now we can call it done. I like the way the details pop through, and as you're taking in the whole scene, your eyes just can't help but stop and stare. Alright, let's run a train. Thanks for following along with the rehab process. If you guys like what you see and aren't already, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, and leave a comment. You guys stay safe and be well.